going on, everyone? Keen947 aka Wolfkeen here. Why am I wearing headphones? I don't know. Anyways, let me try to lower my headphones real quick so this way. There we go. That's better. Okay, so this is Keen947 aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to another edition of A Wolf's Word. Today on A Wolf's Word, I'm gonna talk about a game where I did have gameplay for it, but I had to take it down because of my camera's not straight, is it? You would think, after doing all these videos, I would take the time to straighten my camera, but no, I don't. That's how terrible I am at this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's good. Probably my shirt's not straight, that's probably it. Probably my shirt's not straight. But anyways, I digress. Today we're going to be talking about a game that's a sandbox-styled, like Grand Theft Auto, a game where we work with, in 1945, where we play in the Mafia in Empire Bay. I'm talking about, of course, Mafia 2 for the PS3. Now, there's a couple of things I could say about Mafia 2 right off the bat. First off, that we all know about the first Mafia, which was probably one of the most colossal fails this company had when making PS2 games. Mafia 1 was probably one of the worst games I ever played on the PS2 because it had pixelated graphics, like if it was PS1. The combat system was terrible as shit. The driving system was even worse. And the fact that cops bust you for any little thing, like walking across the sidewalk, stuff like that. Hey, you over there! Basically like that. That's what it was in Mafia 2. Like, any little thing, it was annoying. So, now we're in Mafia 2. It's a redemption. This is supposed to be their redemption for their colossal fail with Mafia 1. So, let's get into what the story is. You play as Vito Scaletta, who's from Sicily, who moves from Sicily with his family, Francesca, his sister, and his mother and father, to the city called Empire Bay, which is supposedly, I think, in LA or something like that. Maybe in California. I don't know. They did say LA or something like that one part of my playthrough. I don't have the playthrough anymore because I had to take it down because of copyright, but I decided since I played through it again, I might as well do my review. So you play as Vito Scaletta, where you come into Empire Bay to, like, live the American dream. But of course, the American dream is not all that everyone thought it would be. And so, you end up in these, how they put these Italians and other races like that in these dirty, broken down houses and stuff like that. That's when you go to school and you meet Joe. When you meet Joe, I forgot his last name. Joe Barbaro. Barbaro is his last name. Joe Barbaro. So, you meet up with Joe and then you start doing petty crimes. One of these crimes, however, gets Vito arrested, and that's when he ends up going to the military, and that's your first mission. Going through your mission with Operation Husky, I think 504th Parachute he was in. But anyways, after you go through that first mission, that's when you first learn that the mob does have power in Sicily because, well, one of the Mafia Dons, I'm believing, told them to stop fighting. Like, no more fighting. That's enough for today. And they listened. I was shocked when I saw that. So after a year of being in the military, I think a year or two being in the military, Vito got shot by a Nazi and he ended up coming back home. He was supposed to be there for only a month, but then Joe helps him out and gets him out of the army. Now, this is where the storyline plays into effect. You're playing as Vito Scaletta trying to make a name for himself, like trying to live a better life compared to how his father was. His mother wants him to live an honest life, work at the harbor, trying to make a better living for himself than his father did, because his father got into the corruption of booze and stuff like that, and that's why they never had a lot of money. So, his mother wanted him to live an honest life, but that's when something happens. Vito's told by his sister Francesca, after she gets hassled by some dude, that their family owes $2,000, and Vito realizes he can't make that money working at the harbor. So then he decides it's time to start working for Joe, and that's when you start doing these crimes like stealing cars, doing harassing workmen at different locations, and then of course finally when you start working for the mob, you start doing bigger and bigger missions, which leads to one of the twists. You're working for this guy, I forgot his name, but you work for him, who's one of the mafia mob bosses. He tricked you he tricked you, and somehow, some way, well, the stunt that he tried to pull on you was that he would bring you into the family for 5 Gs. After you take out someone, that very next day after you killed this person, you get arrested for selling illegal gas stamps. We don't know what happened because there is a DLC story to find out about this. If you want to find out what happened, check out the DLC Joe's Adventure. That's where you can find out what happened, who read it on veto, and why. But anyways, I digress. That's what the story's like. In my honest opinion, the story's really good. I like the story. The story for Mafia 2 is a really good story because you're rising up from like a lowly thug to a respected mafioso. Until one part, which I'm not going to explain, that's spoilers, but you do go through some crazy scenes with Vito, and, well, as I said, you rise the ranks. So, yeah, I love the story, but it's a little predictable. To be quite honest, I think you can tell what the story's about at the very beginning. Now let's get into the music. The music's basically music from, of course, 1940s to 1950s, because Vito's been, I think, around since, like, let's see, he started like working for Joe in 1945. He got out of his situation in 1950, and he's been working with the Mafia for 10 years. So I'm guessing like 1960 something it's right now. Maybe, excuse me, maybe a little longer, but I'm not sure. I like this selection of music. The music selection is good. There's only 3 radio stations, which I like because we don't need too many radio stations, really. We don't. Not especially in those times. We only need like a couple because there wasn't a lot of music back in those times. But I did hear some music that I would heard in Fallout New Vegas, like, ain't that a kick in the head, like some of those songs that you would hear in Fallout New Vegas. Like, I heard some of those songs, and I had to say I like those songs. So that's a plus in Mafia's behalf of having the great music and the great story. The story is like crazy. The ending is such a twist. I love the ending. The ending was such a twist. Like, when I saw the ending, I was like, I couldn't help but be like that. It was like a crazy ending. I'm not gonna spoil it, but let's just say your jaw's gonna drop. There is a couple of problems with Mafia 2. Here's where we lead into the problems. Just like its predecessor, Mafia 1, Mafia 2 does not have a legit free roaming system. It's usually go from mission to mission. They don't let you free roam. I mean, you can free roam if you want, but really, you're not exactly given an opportunity. Like, okay, you wake up, go to here to do your next mission. Like, like in Grand Theft Auto, where you tell you, like, okay, if you want to start the next mission, go here. It's like, nope, you wake up, next mission starts. Go to the next mission right now. That's what it's basically like, and I don't like that. It's like you don't get any kind of freedom to free roam or anything like that. You can free roam if you want, but everything you do when you free roam doesn't save until after you beat the chapter and after you beat the mission. Which leads me to my second issue. I hate the fact that in my playthrough, I collected a lot of money. I made a lot of money, and somehow, some way, every single time, I lost it. One time I had $5,000. I was upgrading cars and everything. Then when I went to the next mission, there's something happened. You lost all your money and clothing. Now you gotta buy new ones. With what money? You took it all away. I mean, the only clothing that you had was from Joe. He lent you a Hawaiian shirt. I was like, wait, I'm wearing this stupid Hawaiian shirt? I hate that. They keep losing your money, your cars, everything. Well, I don't think you lose your cars, but you lose just about everything else, which gets annoying, including guns. Which means, like, you pay for guns, you get all the ammo you need, then the next mission, you lost all your guns, now you gotta go buy them again. What? So you tell me I spent, like, I don't know, like, $600 on buying, like, a full stack of guns, rifles, shotguns, machine guns, pistols, grenades, and they all go away? No, that's not cool. In Grand Theft Auto, when they take your guns away, at least you get them back later. Like, you'll get them back, like, in a later mission or something like that. But in this, you lose your guns, they're gone for good, and you have to go to another gun shop to get more. That's stupid. Because no one's going to realize that. Then when they go to the next mission, they're going to be like, wait a minute, where are my guns? Because they don't realize their guns are gone. It happened to me once. I was doing a mission, I tried to pull out my pistol because I was in a firefight. I was like, wait a minute, I don't have no guns. So I had to end up punching someone with my fist, get their gun, and then carefully aim each shot, trying to get headshots, which leads me to the combat system. The combat system, I have to admit, is improved, because in Mafia 1, it was just like spray and pray. There was no like aiming, there was no stuff like that. It was like your guy was holding his gun like that, like firing willy-nilly and hope that you hit someone. In this game, at least you have the option of like blind firing, like over a cover, or aiming down the sight. And the good thing is there is an aim assist. So when you aim down, you'll aim at like the closest guy, and then you can fire at them. The aim assist isn't all that great, but it helps. It does help in situations where like you're getting overwhelmed. Like if there's like 5 guys and there's like one close to you, and you just pop their head out. You go like, oh, aim assist, boom, you're dead. Then go on to the next guy, which helps. The fighting system's also vastly improved, because in Mafia 1, the fighting system was like that. That's what the fighting system was. Like, just going, like, flailing punches until someone goes down. In one of the missions in Mafia 1, where you're going in an alleyway to protect this woman, there's 3 guys at the get-go, and the only weapon you have is brass knucks. Well, they have knives, bats, pipes. How are you supposed to beat them with just brass knucks? You're not. You're just supposed to, like, get lucky, like punch like this until, like, boom, take one up, then start swinging a bat like crazy until you finally kill all 3 of them. But that's not even the end of the mission. This is what I mean, like the combat system in Mafia 1 was terrible. Mafia 2, they vastly improved this, so it's like a, like a free-flowing style where you can do like combos, heavy punches, get block and stuff like that. And when you get like a certain amount, like you can grab them and then finish them off with like a combo. That's what I mean, it's vastly improved. I like that. Not to mention the combat system plays into effect. Like if you run up on a guy that has a gun and you don't have a gun, your character will actually just knock him out. Boom, like 3 punches. They drop their gun, they're out cold, and you can pick up their gun and use it against them. So, thumbs up on the combat system. The graphics aren't that improved. To be quite honest, these look like PS2 graphics. I can be quite honest, but God, hang on. Needed that. Alright, it was just my pump before you say, he started cocaine! Before you say, alright? Alright, I'm overwhelming myself, but I digress. The graphics, not too improved. I mean, they are improved a little bit, like the facial expressions, like you can actually see, like, how they are, like, they're being, like, they're being, like, angry or, like, stuff like that, but other than that, not really that improved. Some of the buildings look like shit, the floors look like shit. A lot of the cars. And I think they put too much detail in this game. There's way too much detail. In this game, you have to worry about the car's repair. You have to worry about the car having gas. The dirt on the car. The damage to the car. What the fuck? If we're worrying so much about a car, then why don't we just go play Gran Turismo? Because that's what it's supposed to be like. Because let's think about it. In this game, we have to worry about gas, damage, dirt, stuff like that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I playing Mafia, a sandbox game? Or am I playing Gran Turismo? Because that's what it feels like. Because in Gran Turismo, you have to worry about, increasing its torque, increasing all this and that. Mafia has just too many things. Like, it should just stick to what it is. A sandbox game. It's trying to be too realistic. Let's just say that Mafia 2 is trying too many things at once. And it's falling flat on its face. There's not much else I can say about Mafia 2 besides some of the characters. Some of the characters are pretty resemble. The only 2 characters that I enjoyed, though, and I think the only one character, yes, I said it, the only one character that people can relate to is Vito Scaletta. Only because Vito Scaletta is like the everyday man, like one of us. He's just trying to make a better life for himself like the rest of us in everyday life. True, he didn't do it the right way, but he had no choice. Which brings me to a problem. Story repetition. They did the same thing in Mafia 1. Thomas Angelo had no choice but to join the Mafia, otherwise he'd be killed by the Morello family. Vito Scaletta had no choice but to join the family, only because he had to help his family out and pay for, the loan shark. Why couldn't he just, like, pay the loan shark and be like, okay, this life's not for me? I have no clue. I guess he just wanted the money and stuff like that. Thomas had no choice, so I'm starting to notice that there's a trend. Maybe when they make Mafia free, they should try something a little bit more different. Like, maybe talk about an existing member of the Mafia. or something like that. I don't know, like an existing member, like he got I don't know, like he left the Mafia or something like that, or he's on the run from the Mafia, something like that. I don't know, but they should come up with better ideas besides forced onto the Mafia, because I don't think everybody is forced onto the Mafia every like 10 years. No, 5 years, because in Thomas Angelo's time it was 1931 to 38. In Vito's time it was 1945 to 50 something. I don't know. But that's what I mean. I don't like that. Well, I guess that's all I can say about Mafia 2. There's not a lot I could say. There's not a free roaming system. There's not no like side missions you could do besides getting extra money, but that's about it. There's nothing real big about it. The cars are really good. I like the cars, but not really that great, because you can't even push a car to its full potential because the cops bust you if you're speeding. This is what I mean. We don't get to experience these cars. Unless you don't mind getting caught by the cops, we can't like push a car to its limit. Like there's a trophy for pushing a car to 135. There's barely any area you could do that unless a highway and where you won't get caught by a cop, which is annoying. So, what can I say about this game? Mafia 2 was definitely a fun game in my honest opinion. I love Mafia 2 and all, but there's just too many problems holding it back from being a good game. Let's look at it. Saints Row the Third knew what it was doing. It wanted to be wacky fun. Grand Theft Auto didn't know what it wanted to do, but it's still a good game because at least they give us the option to free roam, enjoy our experience, do whatever we want with no limitations. Mafia 2 has limitations, which hinders our gameplay. I mean, like we can't go like I just hate like I mean, it's kind of small stuff, but at least in like Saints Row, you could get drunk, you could drive cars around, do races and stuff like that. In Grand Theft Auto, I'm sure there's a couple of races. You could do drug deals, you could do stuff like that in Grand Theft Auto 4. In Mafia 2, we only get to do missions. That's it. Missions, missions, missions. The only side stuff you could do is take cars to Derek to export them and take cars to get crushed. But that's it. That's it. It's not like it's a big deal, like we're feeling like we're getting something at the end of this. Because let's face it, in Grand Theft Auto 4, when you make friends with your allies, you get certain benefits. In Saints Row, when you do certain missions, you get special benefits. In Mafia 2, when you do these missions, you get nothing but money. And let's face it, like I said, you're going to lose that money. Mafia 2 could have been a great game, but it fell face first on what it was supposed to be. Mafia 2 was a good try, but it was not there. I'm sorry to say, but Mafia 2 is a little bit above Mafia 1, but nowhere close to like Saints Row or Grand Theft Auto. I'm sorry, but Mafia 2 gets a 5. Yes, I said it. Mafia 2 gets a 5. To be quite honest, Mafia 2 has some great music. The story is great. The cars are a little okay, but there's too much stuff hindering it from being a great game. If it wasn't for the fact that there was all these restrictions or no free roaming or stuff like that, then I could actually give this game maybe a 7. But because of all these limitations, I'm sorry to say, but this game only gets a 5. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. If you want to find out the story, rent it. That's all I can say. Rent the game, beat it, you're done. Because you can beat that game in one sit down. I sure as hell did. So, I think that's all I need to say about Mafia 2. It's a 5 out of 10. Not a great game, and definitely not making it into my best games of 2012. If anything, it's probably going to hit my worst games of 2012. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is Keen947 with a Wolf's Word. Seeing you later. See y'all.